Greggy, our first game back at home, it was a bit of a cracker, but unfortunately we're 3 points short.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing we couldn't get over the line today, but look, the signs are still reasonable with some players playing pretty well for us.
We talk about Whelan. He was named as an emergency today for the seniors. Unfortunately didn't get a jumper, but did very well on the development side today.
Yeah, he's just improved. Look, he had a year and a half out with a knee injury, so he's been improving every week. The more footy we can get into him, he's a 50-game senior player with Frankston, and I believe he'll play senior footy here with our club.
And Muling just keeps raking up the stats?
Yeah, look, he was stiff again. Fieldsen was knocked out on Tuesday night. Mules would have played. Unlucky not to get a berth, but again, best on ground for us today.
Let's talk about that final quarter. We found ourselves behind about 3 goals down the last couple of minutes. We kicked a couple of quick ones, got to 3 points in it, but just couldn't find the way home.
No, mate, our urgency came on very late, and it came on the last 5 minutes of that last quarter and just didn't leave us enough time. If we have another 5 minutes, we win the game.
We talked last week about Tommy Johnson, how he played at Noble Park for his first competitive hit of football in 2 years, pulled on the Borough jumper for the first time today. In the luncheon, Toby Pinwell says it was a big lift for the morale of the club to have him wearing the Borough colours again today.
No doubt about that. A champion bloke around the club and champion family with all the boys around the club. We really want the boys to do well, and Tommy took another step today, getting through 3/4 of the game, which was terrific.
It's 2 weeks until we play again. The development side is playing on Sunday the 19th of May against Sandringham at Sandringham, not as a curtain raiser to the seniors. So with the state game in between, what type of training or what process will the boys be going through during this downtime?
Yeah, some of the boys will go home to their home clubs, depending on whether they need the footy or not. Monday we'll have recovery as usual. Tuesday we'll have a hit out. Thursday we'll have a big session. But they've got the weekend off because they've worked pretty hard for 10 weeks up until now.
But overall, including the seniors' wins today, things looking positive.
Oh, look, the seniors' win was a terrific effort today. We needed that. We're staying in touch. We just got to keep winning as well. But, it'll come. I think we can beat Sandringham next time out.
No worries, Greggy. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, mate.
Gary, the House of Pain strikes again.
Yeah, well, obviously when we're here, we seem to have that very strong mental focus that we're not beaten until the siren is blowing for the last time, and 4 goals down. I think we kicked 4 goals in 6 minutes or something at the start of the last quarter. So their intensity around the ball, their life, their energy have been missing probably for the most part of the game. So any side that comes in knows they've got to play right out to 120 minutes. So we really did extremely well individually, but also too collectively, and to kick 8 goals in the last quarter in a 6-day break is a real testament to their mental fitness and physical fitness, I think.
Very odd game. I mean, for both sides, very scrappy. I think Cakesy kicked 10 goals up to 3/4 time. We kicked 7, and then both sides piled it on in the final quarter.
Yeah, I felt about halfway through the third quarter that the game was really opening up. The style of footy they play is no doubt pretty hard because it's almost like probably keepings off, I guess, in a sense. So it sort of takes the intensity out of the game, and once it opened up, we were back in our element of being able to be proactive, whereas I thought we were extremely reactive for probably 2.5 quarters, really, and we just always let them score relatively simple and easy goals.
Another switch up, Sam Fleming late in the game being moved from back to forward.
Well, we know he's a star, and he took that great mark, kicked the goal, and of course we know what quality players and absolute champions we have in our leadership group, and I thought Fleming, Baird, Skipper and Kane, with obviously Pinwell and Valenti out, they stood up like true leaders, and of course they just dragged the guys across the line. Charlie Woodley probably started at 2 in the last quarter with that great goal from outside 50, so if the guys are going to chip in and stand up and take the responsibility, well, hopefully they can replace some of the star players that have left the club over the last year or two.
It's a bit of a confidence thing as well. Some of the supporters noticed early in the game the boys were a bit reluctant to have a shot from 50 when normally they would at Northport.
Yeah, that was interesting. We'd been addressing training this week about deep entry, so I'm not sure whether we were trying to be too creative But in the end, we probably did ourselves out of instinctive play, and we became a bit reactive. So even Chris Kane there at one stage in that third quarter tried to do a little short pass, whereas Chris would have exploded inside 50 and hopefully nailed the goal on the run. So, but you don't necessarily know what's in front of the players and what they're seeing. So sometimes you look up, and the way Casey played, they had a lot of spare players at times in defence. So you look up, you see a bit of a wall, but really you see the goals, you should go for goal.
And some extra footy coming up for Kano, for Plum, for Scipione and Skipper as well. They're in the preliminary squad at the moment for the state squad.
Yeah, we're going to have to be careful there, Pete, I think too, because we've got to keep our boys fresh and healthy and vibrant. So we'll have a selection meeting on Monday, and then we'll probably finalise it down to the 25 or so, I would have thought, later in the week. So, but we need to make sure our boys are really fresh, and sometimes, I know I don't mean this to be what it's potentially could be taken as, but we've always got to look after ourselves first and foremost, and the state game will evolve with guys that are physically fit and mentally fit to represent their state, which is always a great honour.
And just quickly, having a chat to Toby Pinwell during the President's luncheon, he said himself and Shane Valenti were lobbying to get straight back into the senior squad. What's the plan looking like at the moment? Straight back in, or maybe some time in the Development League?
No, there'll be time in the Development League, Pete, so I can knock that right on the head. 6-7 weeks out is far too long in this caper. So they're great players, as we know, and great players also need to get in great form. So they might be a week or two there, mate.
Gary, thanks for your time. Congrats on knocking off the top side.
Good on you, Pete. Appreciate it.
Joined by the president of the Port Melbourne Football Club, Peter Bromley. Peter, home sweet home.
It's really sweet, and it's great to be back here. And I think the things that we've done with the changes in the social room and the dressing rooms, it's giving people a taste of what the future's going to be, because it's only going to get better. In June, or towards the end of June, we expect the visitors' dressing rooms to open up, which will mean that the visitors are better accommodated, but more importantly, so are the Port Melbourne people. They'll have the quality of facilities for the players that they need. Our next task, after we get the social room built, is to provide a really good quality gymnasium. At the moment, we're talking to council, and council's trying to work with us to develop a temporary gym, which will give a much bigger space and something that will accommodate the players and give them really good outcomes.
Now, you updated the President's luncheon with what's happening at the moment over near the scoreboard, which is the construction area and the home of the new pavilion. What's the latest on that?
With the social room, councils, the estimated additional costs of getting the site working again's $1.5 million. The club's been asked to contribute $375,000. The AFL with AFL Victoria together will contribute $375,000, and Port Phillip Council $750,000. If the board agrees to it, which we'll make a decision on Wednesday night to go ahead with that, we'd expect work to start again on that site within the next month.
Now, of course, the original plans had it for the end of June. Obviously, that won't be the case. Has there been a revised target?
I'm not expecting us to be there before February next year.
So it's still a while away yet. On the positive side, we talked about the refurbishments of the new Borough Bar area, which of course will be the home to the cricket club social rooms once the new pavilion is built. But the good news is that the supporters seem to like it, and they packed the place out tonight.
Yes, it was a near-run thing. When I walked into the room on Wednesday morning, together with my board colleagues John May and Brian and Cookie, all of us thought there's no way known that this building's going to be finished in time for Saturday, but a huge effort. There were tradies running everywhere, cleaners, everybody, including us, and we just managed to get the place together with the help of some of our really good supporters.
And the supporters doing a marvellous job, around about 80 people, 14 tables in the luncheon, so it was packed out. Toby Pinwell addressing the luncheon as well. Seemed to be popular, seemed to be good, feel good for everyone. Finally back on home deck at Northport Oval, and as we mentioned earlier, capping off with a 3-point win. Yes,
it was just absolutely fantastic. I mean, the funny thing was that it wasn't until about 11 o'clock yesterday on Friday that I was actually convinced that we could actually fit all our tables and chairs into there. We'd bought new tables, we'd laid them all. It wasn't until they were laid out that realised, hey, we can do it. We can actually get 80 people into here.
And just finally, before we go, a TV game, our next home game, Saturday, May 25th against Coburg, so an early start of 1:10 for the seniors. But that also highlights the scoreboard, which was put into play today, the electronic scoreboard operated by Jen Pryor. It's come up a treat, and I believe there could be possibilities for prospective sponsors to be put up there in the future.
Well, there certainly will. We really want to be able to service our sponsors properly on the board there. At the moment, because we only got the training manual and the training last Tuesday, we're just learning how to work it properly to make sure that the scores are right and the numbers are there and things. And over the next few weeks, people will see some major differences and different aspects coming in. We're expecting probably within the next 2 months to start being able to stream video onto it, which means that our sponsors will be able to have really good presentations up there.
Peter, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Borough TV is a Port Melbourne Football Club production.